there's this very beautiful thing that ends up happening when one of your favorite labels to collect releases one of your favorite films ever, and that's what happened here with High Tension on 4K from Second Sight Films. Just get right into this. So like I said, Second Sight Films finally High Tension on 4K. This was announced back in, I actually pre-ordered this way back in September. I pre-ordered it from Diabolic. It got delayed, and then I think it got delayed to like December, and then it got delayed again from December until now, February. As of the time I'm recording this, it actually officially comes out on Monday. So it's really cool to have this a couple of days earlier, thanks to the guys over there. But this was an announcement of all announcements for me, right? Like, growing up, 2003, when High Tension came out, I was 13 years old. Like, that was the time it was like easily molded. It was movies like Saw, the torture porn kind of era, was the next gen of movies that I was kind of discovering on my own. It wasn't like my mom showing me The Exorcist or showing me Poltergeist or showing me Friday the 13th, all that other stuff, right? That stuff was kind of a given. My mom was like, it's a rite of passage. I kind of have to show you this stuff. But when I was old enough to kind of like start perusing DVD sections and really like kind of figuring out what I like, that was the birth of movies like Saw and High Tension. And these were movies that sort of made way for me now in my 30s to watch exploitation and a little bit more extreme cinema, right? And not so much Saw, because I don't consider Saw the extreme end of things. Maybe a little bit of like Hostel, that era. But one of my favorite of all time right here, Alexandre Aja's High Tension. This was his second film. He did one movie before this one. This was technically his second movie, the one that put him on the map. This was before he did the Incredible Hills Have Eyes remake. And High Tension was sort of the beginning of the new wave French extremity. French films weren't really known for being this extreme. Actually, horror wasn't really known to come from French cinema. That just wasn't really a thing. And then it kind of started, right? You had Saw came from Australian filmmakers, and then you have Alexandre Aja directly kind of channeling into the sensibilities of American slashers, where how extreme can we go, how violent can we get. That comes from American cinema. And then kind of combining some of the sexuality and stuff from French cinema. And this is what we ended up getting. And in my opinion, watching this now, 20 years, actually over 20 years since its release, it holds up every bit of the way. And to get this, chunky box exclusive boy out of it, yeah, I'm very, very, very happy about what we got here. Finally, it's been forever. So packaging wise, if you know Second Sight Films, it comes in the beautiful box. Let's check out this artwork. So there is the front cover, absolutely killer. You have the killer's keychain on the back. Then of course, just your spine, if that'll focus on there. And it's the nice hard box, slightly smaller than some of the others. Like, this is it compared to the It Follows release from last year. A little smaller. But anyway, when you slide this out, still all the typical things that you know and love from Second Sight Films. You have a bunch of art cards. Let me see if I want to... Every time I take these off, I find myself regretting it after, but whatever. So you just have some art cards. So there we have that. These are cool. The animations are really cool. Actually, that one's awesome. My favorite of these so far have been from the Martin release. Flip this here. That's cool. Sorry, odd angle for me to twist. Let me just do this. Like that. Flip it again. Yes. Iconic. And then, yeah, back to the beginning. So you have the art cards, which these are always just cool additions. They are what they are. So we'll put that there. We have our disc tray with our supposed killer. Oh, excuse me, right on the front there, if it'll focus. Just some back art there. Then we have our Blu-ray in here, as well as our 4K. Really cool thing to know, 4K, region-free. Obviously, I think we all know that by now. But everything is on this 4K disc, so bonus features and all of that is right there on that disc. So no worry to have to get a region-free Blu-ray player unless you pick up strictly the Blu-ray release. And then you have in here the booklet. This is a... check this thing out. That cover, there's that art that I love so much. Please, I think I've said it in every video I've dropped so far in 2024. Read your booklets. Like, these things, whether or not you know everything imaginable about something, you're like, man, I've seen this movie 1,000 times. I don't need to read this. Or even if it's your first time and you're like, I don't know enough, read this, which I don't even know why you would say that or why you would do that. Read your booklets. I have watched High Tension probably 150 times in my life, and I still gained good info from this little booklet here. This goes, let's see, about 65 pages inside of here. This is your table of contents. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 write-ups in here, as well as acknowledgments. I definitely recommend. So your Viva La Slasher, the first one, that's by Anna Bugutskaya. She's actually a host on the Final Girls podcast. Their Shared Pain. That's about a little bit of a personal story by the author dealing with mental illness and sort of that mental illness element in the movie itself. I Won't Let Anybody Come Between Us, which is Sexuality and Violence in High Tension by Stacey Ponder. For those who don't know, there was kind of like a little bit of a, I guess, upset, you could say, about the twist in this movie. People were kind of labeling it as homophobic. Others were saying it just didn't make any sense. So if you kind of fall somewhere on that spectrum, that's a good little article to help you out with that. And then you have Self-Sabotage as the Killer in High Tension. All great write-ups. And then all the way in the back, you actually have your production credits, your acknowledgments and stuff. So there's a bunch of cool stuff, you know, scattered throughout this. But please, read your booklets. Like, not only, you know, we're paying premium prices for these releases. I know that, you know, $35, $40, $45 might not seem as premium as others, but that's pretty premium. I mean, it's no $25, you know, release. I think anything over $25 I consider premium, and therefore I want that premiumness of it, the premiality of it. I don't know what word that would be, but anyway, you know, I want that, so I'm going to take advantage of that and read the books and stuff. As far as bonus features go, there's a bunch of new interviews in here. I know there's one with Alexandra Aja that I watched, which was an awesome interview. It was about 35 minutes. I highly recommend that one. As well as one with one of our lead actresses. There's a couple others. I'm not a J-card collector, so I tend to yoink those things pretty much right away. I mean, sorry. I just don't see the value in keeping those. And they look weird on the shelf, I think, most of the time. I don't know. But getting down to just my thoughts, yeah, all these years later, I still love this movie. Alexandra Aja, to me, I want to say like teen years to in my 20s, played a huge role in my growth as a horror fan. Because I saw High Tension, we had the DVD, me and my best friend would watch it all the time. It was a favorite of mine. And then you have his US breakout where he remakes Wes Craven's The Hills Have Eyes, and arguably a better movie than the original. But his style is like copy paste from High Tension into this, and he worked with a lot of the same people, or from High Tension to Hills Have Eyes. I mean, he worked with a lot of the same crew. So the same composer of High Tension worked on Hills Have Eyes. The same makeup effects artist worked on High Tension, worked on Hills Have Eyes. The same cinematographer worked on High Tension, went on to work with him in The Hills Have Eyes. So he brought that crew with him for future endeavors, and you can see a lot of that visually. There's a moment in High Tension during the killing scene, the beginning in the house, where the camera kind of like rapidly zooms out and zooms through the house to the front door. It's the same shot in The Hills Have Eyes when Ted Levine is up on the tree and the tree catches on fire and the camera pulls back real fast in a manic motion all the way back to the RV where they, you know, experience that their dad's burning alive on a tree. Even down to the music, which I felt like the siren, the use of the sirens in Hills of Eyes was so important. In High Tension, it's actually the use of static and sound. There really is no thematic music, like no theme that you could be like, hey, that's from High Tension. There's a couple of songs maybe that you could link to it, but for the most part, most of the music is just use of sound. So when your killer shows up, there's this bit of static, and kind of what that's supposed to represent is the loss in reality, because if you don't know, I don't know if I'm spoiler warning, the killer is right here on the front cover, but throughout the film we see her as this very heavy breathing large, ugly looking man, and he is brutal. He's just a large presence. He's very, very, very nasty to look at. Like, everything in this movie is grimy, and he's just a part of that. So every time we see him, and there's a sort of staticky sound, and I don't have like a perfect Atmos soundtrack out here, but I do listen on Atmos headphones, or not Atmos headphones, I'm sorry, studio headphones, and it gives a good experience. And one thing I noticed, there's a lot of sound bouncing, so spatial audio is kind of bouncing some of that static from the left to the right in certain moments, and it was really, really cool. And I noticed that there really was no music, it was just noises, like different types of clicking, that static sound, low bass tones that would just randomly blow into the track. And it works really, really, really well for High Tension. It worked well for Hills of Eyes. And that's that Alexandra Aja aesthetic. And I think this 4K does a really, really good job at bringing that out. And really, because those are details that I didn't notice back watching this on DVD. Like, that was all brand new to me watching it on here. As far as the video quality, yeah, it obviously looks great. The movie's saturated in greens and blues, mostly greens, but you know, the 4K brought out just a ton of detail. The black levels were excellent. I thought the movie looked great. And if you've never seen this before, this is a very brutal film. Like, the violence in this movie does not stop, and it's hard to watch. There's a moment where the killer puts somebody's head through the gap in the staircase railing, and then takes a dresser, which I've never even thought of this in my... He takes the dresser and pushes the dresser and decapitates him, and there's just a fountain of blood coming out. Just like very extreme violence. And what I remember watching the DVD back in the day and thinking, like, the blood was very, very dark, and I could see a lot more of that detail now. And I'm thinking back, like, so many years to recapture these details. But that was one thing that I really, really, really noticed. There's a lot of dark scenes in this. I've noticed a lot more detail in that, and the greenhouses towards the end of the movie. Just a lot more detail overall. I thought that the movie, it'll never look better than this. It did not look good on my Blu-ray, I thought. I watched it once on that Blu-ray, and I was like, yeah, this looks like just a slight upscale on my DVD. Most of my experience with it was on that DVD, which is now long gone. It's probably destroyed in a trash can somewhere. I don't remember what I did with it. I have no idea, but this is the penultimate release, and I'm so happy to finally have this and to have this film in this treatment. I mean, this is freaking awesome. And we all know, too, Second Sight is already off to a bang. With 2024, they just announced Possessor and Green Room to come to 4K. So to see them continuing with such great titles, especially in the 4K format, is awesome. Sorry, that was my dog's ears flapping. I thought, if you watch my list of my favorite releases of last year, It Follows was on there. Martin was also on there as well. I think the year before, there were some Second Sight titles on my list as well. I mean, Second Sight just doesn't miss. And like I said in the beginning, it's great to love a label and to discover new things on it. It's even better when a label puts out your favorite stuff. It just makes the experience of ownership and that excitement. I couldn't wait to get this in the mail. Like, I was hyped. Like, it was one of those things where I was like, dude, this is why I freaking love collecting physical media and why I love being a movie fan and buying this stuff. Like, that feeling of excitement that I had driving home to pick this up out of the mailbox, it's unmatched, man. It's seriously unmatched. So, just some thoughts. I just kind of wanted to show this thing off and give some thoughts on it. Let me know what you think of this video style. I don't consider myself a reviewer. I don't actually think I'm good at reviewing. I just really want to show this stuff off and then give my thoughts on it. So let me know if you like that. Do me a favor though. First of all, buy this. First and foremost, buy that. But go ahead over on Instagram, shoot me a follow there. It is Bearded Film Guy. I'm planning a giveaway. We're currently at 470 subscribers right here on this channel. Once we have 500, I'm gonna do a little giveaway, maybe a live stream. Maybe I'll invite some friends over. Like, not here, I don't have room for friends in this room, but I mean, on a live stream or something, we'll figure it out. But thanks to everybody for all of the love in 2024. All of the, like, just growth has been incredible, and I'm so excited to keep it going. I'm just excited to keep showing off this stuff and keep talking physical media and, you know, doing all the cool stuff. So, thanks for watching. I'm going to catch y'all next time. Later.